game. Time to play the game.
It's WrestleMania week, DC.
It is WrestleMania weekend, and since it's my show, we're going to spend a segment doing WrestleMania predictions.
Yes, I like this. I'm pumped. What a surprise.
Well, and you know, I think I've mentioned this before, but in Las Vegas, you can actually bet on wrestling. And some of the online places you can bet on wrestling. Now, in Vegas, you can't bet. I think the maximum is $50 because it is predetermined.
Right.
Obviously, someone could really cash in if they allowed big bets. So the online places, apparently you can bet as much as you want on these online casinos, but I wouldn't trust them. But they are good for odds, though. I have WrestleMania odds.
Can I give a PSA real quick?
Yeah,
for
yeah.
the fact that if you're a betting person and you're going to go bet online and bet a ton of money on something that's predetermined, that might be a sign you may have a betting issue.
Well,
1-800-BETS-OFF person that's betting on WrestleMania matches.
Well, I would say the same thing, but then I looked at how much a 9-match parlay would win. All of my picks, a $10 9-match parlay would win something like. Hold on a second, Lee.
1-800-BETS-OFF, DC.
Yeah. Now it doesn't let me do the parlay.
Uh-oh.
Let's see. It was something like $9,000 or for a $10 bet. Now this was an online place. I don't think the legit casinos in Vegas let you do parlay betting on wrestling because
Did you say $9,000
on a $10 bet.
I take back everything I just said.
But then again, you know the odds of hitting a 9-match parlay unless you are, connected and know the people writing things. But even then, they changed things at the last minute. They did last year with the Brock Lesnar and Undertaker thing. That was changed right before the match.
Yeah.
They did that 30 minutes before the show started. So even if somebody had inside information, they would have lost that one, which was that was the biggest surprise ever, probably.
Probably, maybe the biggest surprise in wrestling history. That ranks right up there with Hogan turning and going NWO. I mean, that was nobody saw that coming. Yeah.
So I figured we'd do some of the picks. We'll start at the bottom of the card, and I don't like that they moved the Battle Royal to the pre-show. It's a 2-hour pre-show now. They're just like the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Now remember, it's a 4-hour show. I mean the show itself is 4 hours, which is insane as it is. But a normal monthly pay-per-view show is 3 hours. But WrestleMania is always 4 hours. And I will say, now that they do the network thing and it's only $10, it's a good deal. Even though I'm not excited about the headline match. Actually, I'm not. Well, I can't say I'm not excited about a lot of these matches. There are a couple that probably will be really good. That's the one thing. Even if the main event is a clunker, which has happened a few times in the past few years, the show always ends up being good.
Yeah. I think it'll be a good show. There's some matches on here I don't really particularly care about, but for the most part, they're not bad.
Yeah. I think it'll be a good show. So we'll start at the bottom. I think they'll probably do this 4-way tag team match to begin with. The odds for this one right now, let's see. The odds right now, Los Matadors. Remember those guys? I guess
Matador, yeah.
Which is kind of funny because they take two guys from Puerto Rico and give them Mexican bullfighter gimmicks and give them a little person dressed up like a bull, which is the only reason they still have jobs. That guy, the crowd loves that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
But
they don't really care about the two wrestlers.
No, they don't really care about the other guys. So they're 7-1, which is surprising because they have no chance.
They're not going to win. The Usos are going to win this match. This isn't even.
Well, here's the thing, and I don't know why the odds are like this, except there must be a lot of money going towards Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. Tyson Kidd and Cesaro are the favorites. They're 1-2 favorites, which is, pretty good odds for them. The Usos are 4-1. That's a bargain.
Yeah,
because they're going to win.
They're going to win. The Usos are going to win.
They're for one thing, they're related to the family. They're related to The Rock, who's related to the Samoans and all that whole line. Basically, if you're in that family, you win. That's usually
it's a
what
conspiracy, DC.
Well, it certainly seems like it. If you ever look at the family tree, almost every single one of them has come through that company and been pushed like you wouldn't believe.
I believe InfoWars has an article on that.
Yeah, it is a conspiracy.
Yes.
Okay, so I think we agree the Usos win that.
Yeah.
The Battle Royal. Now, I'm not going to list everybody in the Battle Royal, but the three favorites, Damian Sandow or Mizdow, which I think that's one of the best gimmicks they've done in a while. The fans like him. Why he's not wrestling against The Miz in a match at WrestleMania to end this, this gimmick that they've been doing. For those that aren't familiar, he does a gimmick where he's the stunt double. So if something happens to The Miz, he acts like it happens to him too.
It's brilliant.
They
should have kept it going longer, in my opinion.
You think? Well,
yeah, they should have kept him heel longer.
Apparently, they're gonna. Oh, you think they should have kept him heel? I don't know. The fans weren't. The fans weren't having it. They love Damian Mizdow. I think they probably should have maybe last week had the split and said we're going to have our big match at WrestleMania. Those two would have put on it would have been a good match. I won't say it's great because The Miz isn't really a very, very good performer, but it would have been interesting. Yeah. But I guess they're going to save the big final confrontation for somewhere later down the line. But Mizdow's the favorite. He's a 5-4 favorite. Sheamus, who we haven't seen in a year because he had that serious injury, he's a 5-2 favorite, or he's second in favorites. And then Ryback is 6-1, and it just goes from there to 10-1s, 30-1s, 50-1s. Zack Ryder 50-1, which is a bargain because he has no chance of even lasting more than a minute.
I'm going to say the most obvious pick wins it.
Right? Who would you say?
I think the Big Show wins it.
The Big Show. Big Show is 12-1.
Yeah.
If you were a betting man and you trusted online sports betting, which I don't, but if you were a betting man, 12-1 odds is pretty good for that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's kind of a shame because last year, of course, Cesaro won it, and it was very impressive. Picks the Big Show up, throws him over like he's nothing. Very strong guy. They did absolutely nothing with that. So that pretty much killed the entire match as far as being relevant. So,
and the Big Show's in the Authority, so I think it'll make him a little bit more relevant.
What I think's going to come out of this, because Kane is also in the match.
Kane will help him.
I think they split. I think Big Show turns again. How long has it been since he's turned? 2-3 weeks?
3 months.
So it's time for him to turn again. He'll be the good guy. Kane will be the bad guy. And
no, I think Kane will help him win. They're not going to do that. There are no more splits in the Authority for a while.
I think Kane eliminates him.
Well, maybe Kane's the one that gets helped. Maybe that's what happens.
See, I originally thought Mizdow would win just because he's such a fan favorite, but then my brain starts working, and Sheamus wins.
You think?
Yeah, just because he hasn't been back in a while, and they've been promoting him and all this stuff. Plus, he's Triple H's buddy in real life. So that the real life stuff sometimes takes precedence over an unimportant match. Okay, so this one actually has turned out to be fairly interesting as far as a feud goes, considering the terrible gimmick that Rusev has been saddled with. A Bulgarian guy who looks like a nice guy. He doesn't look evil.
No, he doesn't.
He's got like a soft face, and he looks like a nice guy turned into an evil Russian. This is a gimmick from the 1980s, which matches up with John Cena's gimmick from the 1980s.
Mm-hmm.
Cena wins, right? He's a 2-9 favorite, so that's 1 to 4.5 odds.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to put this U.S. strap on Cena yet, though. I think I want to lean towards he wins, but maybe something happens, a DQ or something.
Yeah, it could
and
be
then Cena wins on down the line. I'm with you, though. If I'm putting money on it, I would probably guess Cena wins, but I could see a DQ or something.
It could be a screwy ending. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at that.
And it's Lana, I think the more important thing is hopefully Lana comes down to the ring.
Oh, yeah. Well,
and hopefully there's a ton of cameras on Lana because I'd rather watch her ringside than watch this match.
Okay, what's the over-under for number of times she slips out of her Russian accent? Oh, it's a horrible Russian accent.
7. Just slip out of it. This is going to be a long match.
Well, it's going to be a long.
I say 7.
It's going to be a long promo. She's going to come out and talk for 10 minutes probably. So,
yeah, she might. Yeah, she wasn't with them on Raw, so I'm a little worried.
Oh, she'll be there.
Okay. What if she helps Cena? That'd be interesting.
That would be interesting.
Hey, I need a right for WWE. I'm just saying.
You know what I'm gonna say? I say a Rusev face turn at the end of this. He turns on Lana, and she after the match she slaps him for losing to Cena. He turns.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
And then shakes Cena's hand. That's gonna be my prediction.
Hey, that'd be a good ending to the match. And then Lana is my manager now.
Yeah, that's a crazy. Well, hey, there you might need one. Okay, the Bella Twins versus AJ Lee and Paige. This is also known as the Go Get a Snack match.
Oh no, I'm gonna watch it.
Oh,
this is to record this match. Watch it later,
frame by frame,
in slow motion.
Wardrobe misfunctions. AJ and Paige are actually pretty decent performers as far as in-ring stuff, but
they're not going to gotten a lot better. I will say that.
Well, better is relative, I guess.
Yeah.
They win though. The Bellas win.
There's no title on the line? It's just tag team match?
Yeah, it's just
the Bellas don't win.
You don't think so?
Nope. AJ and Paige wins.
And then there's some kind of disagreement over who won? Because they have to set something up with AJ and Paige.
No, they just feuded not too long ago. They're not going to feud. Yeah. The Bellas, Nikki won't lose that title for a while, but you can't keep them winning at all times. So I think this tag match, perfect way to give AJ and Paige some momentum. And there you go. Yeah. Maybe probably set up a triple threat match. You might be right.
Yeah, it could
at least set up an AJ Paige, Nikki Bella triple threat match or something.
Interesting. I say the Bellas win. You say AJ and Paige. Okay, this might be the most interesting feud where one guy hasn't even shown up for promotion.
With Bray Wyatt behind the mic, you don't need him to show up. The guy's just amazing.
The Undertaker, he didn't bother even showing up for the last Raw before WrestleMania. He hasn't shown up for anything for a year. I don't think it'll be a good match, but it'll be interesting.
Yeah. I think it will be. The Undertaker can still wrestle. And he hasn't wrestled in a long time. He's well rested.
He'll be well rested, that's for sure.
Yeah, Bray Wyatt's pretty good for a big guy. He's pretty good in the ring.
And they'll do something to make it interesting.
Yeah, there'll be something weird that happens.
And of course the Undertaker wins. It's probably his last match.
I agree. The Undertaker wins. He shouldn't. He shouldn't win.
No, he shouldn't. But
Bray Wyatt should beat the Undertaker. But it won't be. I think it should be a passing of the guard.
The rule of thumb is you go out on a loss. You pass the torch to somebody, and maybe after the loss, there's some kind of torch passing moment of some sort where you really are evil or something like that. But probably something a little bit better written than that.
Yes.
But I think the Undertaker wins. Shouldn't, but he will. Okay, the ladder match. This is Barrett, Ziggler, Ambrose, Daniel Bryan, Stardust, Luke Harper, and R-Truth.
I do want to go back for a second to the Wyatt Undertaker thing. I think the Taker's going to win. I think Bray Wyatt does something dastardly.
So
it's like the Undertaker is done forever.
Yeah.
So
and maybe
it is a changing of the guard.
Yeah, that's what
I think.
That could very well be because the one problem they've had with Bray Wyatt is people cheer for him.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be really bad.
Well, people are morally corrupt,
Well, that is true. Wrestling fans are. Anyway. Okay. The Intercontinental ladder match, Daniel Bryan wins, right?
Of course.
Yeah. It's not even a question. Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins. I think
Orton beats the living tar out of Seth Rollins and wins the match.
I think so, too.
Yes.
Because the cowardly heel always has to get his comeuppance at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Sting versus Triple H, I think, is going to be, again, these are two older guys. Sting is like 51 years old. Triple H is 45 or 46. It's going to be the best match of the night.
I agree.
Yeah,
they still wrestle.
Yeah, by far, it'll be the best match of the night. Sting easily, well, not easily, but cleanly wins. Because Triple H always loses at WrestleMania.
He does always lose. I have a sneaking. That logic says Sting. I have a sneaking suspicion that Triple H pulls off a shocker.
If
beats Sting and keeps the feud going.
That is the one thing. If
maybe
they
cheat somehow, they help him. Nobody helps him or something.
A surprise.
Stephanie McMahon helps him, maybe.
Nash. Or
that could be interesting. He is in the
Hall of Fame this year. Okay, and the final one. Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, the match no one wanted to see. The monkey wrench thrown into this whole thing. Roman Reigns was like Lesnar was like a 4-1 underdog before he announced this week he's never fighting in real fighting again. UFC, he's never fighting again. I think Brock wins.
I think Brock wins the match. I think it's irrelevant because Seth Rollins, after getting beat up, will cash in Money in the Bank. He will beat Lesnar and be the world champion before the end of the night.
And I think that's how they end the show with Seth Rollins just standing over him with the case or something like that, or with the belt. But I think it's better in the long run. If they want to have Roman Reigns as their guy for the long run, he loses on Sunday.
Yeah, if they have him win, it'll be a disaster.
It'll be a disaster. If you want to see what 80,000 angry people that's paid a lot of money for seats looks like, let Roman Reigns win. But I think Brock wins.
It might turn into like the old NWO days where they're throwing Cokes on Reigns and popcorn.
I would love to see fans throwing trash. That would be. Can you imagine 80,000 people throwing soda cups and toilet paper rolls? It would be great.
That's weird. That's what happens to me when I go out in public in Gillette.
Well, I know the feeling. What do we have going on in sports?
We have a Camel Girls Soccer, Gillette College Track, and NCAA tournament news from last night.
Okay, sounds good. We'll see you in an hour. News Talk 1270 KIML.
You're listening to Don Carpenter on Gillette's Heritage Station. News Talk 1270 KIML.